Okay, today is the 8th of November, 2024, a couple of days after the election of President Trump. And I'm doing a short series of videos to just practice videos I want to put on YouTube and see if I can edit them together to make one, they're not very long, but longer video, and how the editing on YouTube works. So I've done 3 of them, I think, and I accidentally sent one of them out on my Facebook page today with a memory post. By accident, thinking I was sending a still, but so I'm not sure what that one said, but anyway, I wanted to touch base and say a few more things where I left off last time and practice my voice and try to talk slower and get my words clearer. I wanted to start by saying this. This is what this is about is my father's, an heirloom from my father, who wore when he was the past master of the Rosicrucian Lodge in the San Fernando Valley. My mom and him were members of the Rosicrucian Lodge in San Fernando Valley. I remember going to the rented place they had before they built the building. I helped chop down a big tree. My first tree climbing experience as a boy. I think it was probably 13 or so. And later they built the lodge. And my father was a member. And one year they elected him the master of the lodge, and I have a photograph of him. I'll try to post some of these photographs I'm thinking of. I don't know how I'll do it, but maybe I'm gonna use Zoom too, so maybe I can blend these videos with Zoom to put the images on. But I have a picture of him wearing a black robe, and my beautiful young mom at his side wearing this cross. And one of the few things I've inherited from my father, and to me it stands for the teaching of the Rosicrucian order. It's headquartered in San Jose. Its initials AMORC, Ancient Mystical Order Rosicrucians. There's many things that are called Rosicrucians, but this particular group is a secret order, so they never talked to us kids about the teachings, but we knew it was all about the mind, learning how the mind works. I remember Dad one time when we were boys had a friend over to test those boys for our ability to do dowsing, finding water, in that case underground. And one of my brothers, Brian, was able to do it. I didn't want to try. I resisted, so I didn't pass. But they had different experiments they did with lights and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what it's about, but it's about learning how the mind works, because their philosophy included the teaching that, for example, the pyramids in Egypt were built by mind power, moving these giant stones by the mind. And they were big into Egyptian mythology. My mom had a statue on the TV about Nefertiti and the Sphinx and all that stuff. Later, they both got involved in the Sai Baba movement, which Satya Sai Baba was brought to my parents' attention by their friends in the Rosicrucian order. And I went to many meetings in I think in the 70s, early 70s, when L.C. Cowan, Walter Cowan came back from India with rings and things that Baba had materialized, and telling the story firsthand about how Walter Cowan had died on the way there and Baba resurrected him, and the stories they both told about what Baba said and all that stuff. And I have seen movies where the wedding of Walter Cowan and L.C. Cowan, he married them, and he manifested a string of beads. And India, they have a kind of bead called Rudraksha. And every once in a while, a seed from some particular plant, every once in a while, the seeds mutates and you get a double Rudraksha. So they make them in beads, make beads out of them. Well, Baba materialized in this video. I hope to be able to get access to my storage and find this video from my brother who took me to India, gave it to me. It has a video of the ceremony with Walter Cowan and L.C. Cowan, and Baba materialized from thin air a big jump mala, they call it, the 108 or 109 beads. In each one of them was a double Rudraksha bead. Then he held it up and he separated it into two of these jump mala strings of beads, and he went pull it apart. You can hear in the video click, 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 as he pulled them apart, and they turned into two double Rudraksha strings of beads. So that's an example of my background, how long I've had, my mind has been conditioned by witnessing these kinds of things, the supernatural things that Baba just calls his play, his Leela, his divine play, and as an act of will, he calls it. But it all has to do about the mind. That's why when I left my studies in chemistry, eventually after a spiritual experience, I went and applied for the PhD program in chemical physics at UCSB to do a study of explanation of the power of the mind, taking off on Einstein's idea of unified field theory, which is a simple set of equations to describe all of physical reality, all events in nature no matter when or where, with 100% certainty. Well, the 100% certainty is the part that Einstein got a lot of flack by, because of his contemporary named Heisenberg came up with the uncertainty principle, which is a refutation of the absolute nature of truth. Heisenberg said, you can never know the truth with 100% certainty. All you could do is know higher probabilities something is true. Well, that turned me off to chemistry. As a graduate, honors graduate in the chemistry, when I got that teaching in my advanced physical chemistry class, graduate level class, and I gave up, was planning to do a career in chemistry, invent something useful, but I gave it up with that message from that teacher saying science didn't believe in the absolute nature of truth. So I went into business and got married and had a child and had a really troublesome experience. I don't want to go into details, but that led me to take a break, and my break I had a spiritual experience with a clairaudient perception of the sound of Torah. I don't know what didn't know what it was, but later a couple of years later got pronouncing the sound of Torah. My voice kept going. I pronounced Torakum, and I found out that means in Hebrew the law stands up. So anyway, after a bunch of experiences, I came to realize my equation to describe this the human mind's consciousness orientation function of light, and it describes a natural law, the great law of peace, which I finally was able to write a book about my experience. And during the last year, published in July 2014, the book is called Restoring the Great Law of Peace, How to Tell the Whole Truth. It's on Amazon, and I hope everybody can read it. I sent a copy to President Trump, which arrived the day before Election Day. I hope he'll read it. I have created an imaginary quote from him about my book, saying, "This is the greatest book I've never read yet, but when I do, I'll understand it better than anybody else." So I hope he'll be motivated to watch it, to read it, and give me an endorsement of my book so many people will read it. To understand this concept of the great law of peace is an inviolably sovereign natural law. You can't go against it, or like gravity, you get your head hit. So it has to do with keeping faith in the absolute nature of truth, which I was reinforced by that teaching from not only Sai Baba, but Nichi Datsu Fujii, who I'm a lay disciple of. And so I will end it there for now and see if I can weave these videos together, learn how to edit. I want to say Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. That's the Buddhist prayer. Means more or less there's no law but the one law, the true Dharma, by which everybody should respect in order to bring peace and tranquility to the nations. And La ilaha illallah, also 7 syllables, which is the Islamic prayer. There's no God but the one God. And we need to put both of those prayers to the drum. to beat the drum and make these prayers to bring peace to the earth. That's one of my messages. So I'm gonna, I don't want to talk too long because I'm not good at it, but I wanted to say that. And the Torah Kum, the law stands up. The Torah, the one law, the law that even God has to follow in the world. As it arises, the awareness of this one law be prevalent around the world and bring peace. Torah Kum, Torah.